5 affordable fragrances that smell super expensive. You know the deal. We have some for men, some for women, some unisex, but inevitably all of these perfumes are going to help you save tons of money, especially considering the fact that a lot of us don't have too much disposable income. If you're looking to save hundreds of dollars, make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these 5 inexpensive fragrances that smell super expensive, the most inexpensive one on this list, I think it's like 33 bucks. So they're all highly inexpensive. And when you look up the counterparts, the more expensive counterparts, I should say, you'll notice that they're going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance related content, and if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So with this being the case, and I think, the prioritization for a lot of consumers as of late has been to save money. You want to save a lot of money. You don't want to spend an arm and a leg on an eau de toilette or an eau de parfum, especially considering the fact that a lot of niche brands are going for upwards of like $500, $600, $700. They're getting so expensive, especially the more exclusive that they get. I mean, the most recent one that I picked up that was super expensive is probably Jubilation 40 by Amouage. And when I saw the price, I was like, I love the DNA, I want to buy it, but I know it's not feasible for a lot of people. Anyway, let's go ahead and start things off with this fragrance by the Dua brand. This is called Enchantment. So this is the brand's take on A Midsummer Dream by Roja Parfums. And this is one that I purchased many years ago. This fragrance is quite resinous. There's this elemi resin ingredient. It's a bit citrusy in the opening, and it has that same longevity and tenacity of the original. Now, of course, my liquid got a little bit darker over time. I'm guessing there's a bit of natural vanilla in this as well. It's not an overly sweet fragrance, so it's not an amber-based perfume that is predominated on the note of vanilla. We know that a lot of amber perfumes nowadays can be quite sweet. This one, on the other hand, is a bit incensey. I'm actually getting a lot of olibanum in this, especially off the atomizer. I'm getting like this lemony pine aroma, but it goes without saying that Roja Parfums fragrance is one of my favorite brands, by the way, but they're so darn expensive. And I just know there are people out there that will not cough up $400, $500, or $600 for a single bottle of perfume. That's just how it is. A lot of people don't have that type of disposable income. If you like that A Midsummer Dream DNA by Roja Parfums, but you're looking for an inexpensive alternative, Enchantment by the Dua brand is the way to go. And let's be honest, I don't know of too many other fragrances that are replicating that DNA. It seems like Dua is always hard at work trying to source, materials and oils to replicate the most popular and some of the more under the radar hidden gem fragrances from a lot of these designer and niche brands. And they're also going after a lot of discontinued fragrances as well, which is something that I really appreciate, considering the fact that I have so many favorites like Armani Attitude and Calvin Klein Crave. And these are fragrances that I grew up on, and they have their own renditions of those fragrances as well, which is really good. Anyway, we also have Citrus Tea by Dossier. So this is the brand's take on Thé Noir 29 by Le Labo. And I know there's also Thé Matcha, and of course tea is a very popular note in many perfumes, and I totally understand that. This fragrance is very grounding, calm, soothing, and the notes, thankfully, are listed right on the bottle. Bergamot, fig, black tea. It's not a juicy fig. Bay leaf, tobacco, jasmine, vetiver, cedarwood, musk, hay, peach, and incense. But of course, the more prominent notes are going to be the tea, a bit of like this aromatic fig, right? It's more like a fig leaf than it is a fig fruit, or like a fleshy, fruity, saccharine ingredient, something like you would get in Purple Fig by Wilhelm or Philosykos by Diptyque. It's not that, right? Like this is a very sort of a dry, earthy fig. And I think the incense also adds a lot of that dryness. Same thing can be said about the amber that's in this one. Whenever you get a combination of resins, inevitably what you're doing is you're creating an amber accord. This is a very dry, unsweetened amber, right? Just like this fragrance. Not much sweetness. I think there might be a touch of vanilla, but again, it's not sweet. And Roja Parfums has a lot of sweet fragrances, believe me, right? Like there's also Sweetie Oud and Manhattan, which is more on the sweeter side of things. It has like that cinnamony sweetness. Anyway, let's keep the unsweetened train going. Full speed ahead. This one is Poseidon's Cologne by the Dua brand. So if you needed any hints, this is their take on Aventus Cologne. This fragrance, very citrusy, super easygoing, mass appealing, compliment getting DNA. I mean, this is one of the easiest fragrances that you can wear and pull off. It's just so easygoing, mass appealing. You're not going to find anything offensive about this DNA. Tons of citrus in here as well. And of course, this is a unisex fragrance. So whereas the original Aventus with the pineapple and the birch tar and the cedar, it's a bit heavy-handed. It could be, you know, according to traditional standards, masculine leaning. And of course, there's Aventus for her, which is a bit more heading in a floral direction. This one is the happy medium between the two, and citrus as the prevailing note in this one is a very unisex vibe. So I think this one is very easy to pull off, very easy to wear. Poseidon's Cologne is the brand's take on Aventus Cologne by Creed. If you're looking for compliments, yeah, that's probably going to be the most complimented fragrance on this entire list. Now, we also have one that I discovered fairly recently. And speaking of Sweetie Oud by Roja Parfums, I know that's a perfume that has a macaron accord. Now, with this fragrance, it also has a macaron accord. So it's a little lactonic. There's coconut, there's raspberry, there's jasmine. You have this slightly creamy sweetness in the dry down. But I sprayed it and I was like, no. There's a lot of coconut in this. So this is not similar to Sweetie Oud at all. So I said it has to be another macaron-based fragrance. And there was only one other fragrance that came to mind, with the exception of one by, man, I forget the name of the brand. I think it'll come to me, and then I'm gonna mention it. Nicolai. Nicolai also has a macaron fragrance. It's not that. This is Minya Coco Lush by Paris Corner. Smells exactly like it. This is the brand's take on Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. Now, here's the thing. You can find Ariana Grande Thank You Next for a discount. So I don't know if you might necessarily want to go with this fragrance as an inexpensive alternative, but I would say the performance is better. And I think the presentation is also pretty cool. Thank You Next kind of has like this broken heart silhouette thing happening in there. So it looks really nice, but I think this one is going to be up to personal preference. It's hard to say the most notable differences as far as the olfactive profile is concerned. I think they're quite similar, but check this one out. Beautiful presentation, pretty heavy bottle, highly inexpensive. And I think like Joma Shop has it. You can look for it online. You'll get it for a good price. But in the #1 spot, and this is the type of fragrance that I always turn to. I just love the way that it smells, especially when I want to be put in the mindset of summer. So it snowed here like 2 days ago. I don't know when I'm going to publish this video, but this is the type of fragrance that I love to wear when I want to put myself in a more relaxing, tranquil, summery vacation, almost like beachy mindset. And of course, this is the brand's take on Soleil Blanc by Tom Ford. This is such a beautiful tropical floral, also with coconut, just like Coco Lush, except this one is a bit on the powdery side of things, but it's such a beautiful fragrance and I can't get enough of it. And I would highly urge you to check this one out, especially if you haven't already done so. I know I've had my bottle for a few years now, if I'm being honest, and it's such a great alternative, and it's only gotten so much stronger with age. And this one from the brand Dossier is called Powdery Coconut. It truly is an exceptional fragrance. So there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me. 5 affordable perfumes that smell super expensive. And all 5 of these are really high quality as far as I'm concerned. I've done comparisons. I've done a side-by-side with the originals. I have all of these originals except for the Ariana Grande, which I tried in stores, I think at Ulta, some time ago. And immediately it reminded me of it. But what are some affordable fragrances that you like to wear in place of their original, more expensive counterparts? And also, are you interested in picking up any of these fragrances? All of the links are going to be down below. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you took something of value from this video. And of course, if you did, I would really appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and giving this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.